Good morning, friend. Welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Becky if you are new, and today we are tackling an organizing and deep cleaning project. I don't have to worry about dinner or breakfast or anything for the next couple days because we did a ton of meal prep. And so I'm going to tackle some organizing projects. And the first one I want to tackle is my spices. I reorganized my spices, it was a year ago now. I think it was last winter, so about a year ago. And the system I moved to was away from mason jars to these Fido jars that have this lock on them. I bought these when Josh and I first got married, which next month is going to be 10 years ago. And I've been living with them for about a year, and honestly, I don't really like them. I want to go back to my jars with these wooden lids. They're wide mouth jars with a wooden lid. I got these on Amazon, and I miss the look of that on this shelf. So what it looked like for the past year is, let me bring these back up here and I can show you. I had a bunch of spices here, and a lot of my spices have run out, so this is like the perfect time to organize everything. But I don't know, it just visually looked more cluttered to me than the mason jars because of all the metal and the orange. I had a couple that were different sizes, and I had one more here. And I don't know, just getting in and out of them is not as easy as these wooden mason tops that are pretty airtight. So we're gonna go back to the system. I went ahead and I brought up all my spices from downstairs because I actually wanna get away from oh gosh, okay. We're already making a mess and we just got started. I wanna get away from storing any excess spices downstairs. And I want all my spices up here and in the jar. When I see that the jar is getting low, I will replenish it, but I don't want any excess downstairs because I'm having a hard time figuring out what I have, what I don't have. And if I just have spices in one area, I will know what I have and what I don't have. So this morning I went ahead and I washed a bunch of jars. I do need these to fully dry, obviously, before we put dry spices in them. I ran them on a quick cycle with an extra dry, but I can see there's still a little bit of moisture in here. So I'm just gonna get these out to finish air drying. I have no idea how many I'm gonna need, so I just grabbed a bunch of them. And if I washed more than I needed, that's fine. We're also going to tackle one more area, actually two more areas, maybe three. We'll see how far we get today. But this spice area is like my number one goal here, which includes this part of my kitchen too. I mean, this is a disaster, my friend. Oh, it is so disorganized. Like, you can't even hardly move it without things falling and stuff. Look at this. This is not functional. So I need to make this more functional. So that's the top one. This is the bottom one. We're not only gonna get things organized, we're also going to clean in here. I have a ton of jars that need to be taken care of. My 2 kombuchas have gone bad. We used to drink so much kombucha, so it was worth the effort of making it. But we don't go through a lot of kombucha, maybe one a week or one every other week. I will sometimes buy it when it goes on sale at Costco, and that's about it. And so I don't make it, and it has molded on me. I keep my kitchen relatively cold because I do so much cooking. Kombucha does not like cold, and so it has molded on me. So I just need to get these out of here, and I need to have the scobies go get composted and then wash these jars and then empty out this cupboard. I'm gonna empty this cupboard out while I'm waiting for my mason jars to dry. I really have been working on making my house more organized and putting systems in place that I can keep up on. And I've noticed that if I can figure out a way to keep things organized, then I can keep on top of it. And this clearly is not functional for me. So I'm gonna go grab a box or something that I'm gonna start putting some things into donate. I mean, this is obviously I'm gonna recycle, but I just have a bunch of jars from when I used to make kombucha, and I don't see myself doing that anytime soon. So if I get back into kombucha, I will either save up some more kombucha bottles from store-bought kombucha, or I will use mason jars or something like that. But for now, I know that I'm not gonna be doing kombucha, so it's just time to say goodbye to these. So I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go get a box first for these. And I really want to streamline my kitchen and my spices so that life is just easier. This can go downstairs. I keep coconut oil down there. I already have one up here, so I don't need 2 of those. The only spices or anything that I want to keep downstairs that I don't keep up here are homegrown items like these. This is both freeze-dried cilantro. Obviously, I can combine the two because we've been using those. But for the most part, you can see I clearly just need a better system. An example of getting a system that works for me is this drawer. This has been able to stay organized for months now because of this organizational system. Everyone knows where everything goes, and it has been so nice. Another example is this over here. I mean, it hasn't been that long since we organized this. It's been about 3 or 4 months, but everything has been able to stay so nice and tidy. I mean, other than there's a little bit of flour in here that I could go through and wipe up, everything is staying in its place. Everybody knows where everything is labeled, and it's just, oh, well, obviously, this is not brown sugar, so my flour and brown sugar got mixed up. But other than that, everything has been able to stay organized. If creating a system means I need less items, I am okay with that. Spices only have so long of a shelf life anyway. I don't really want to be storing excess spices. And I have all these like really beautiful salts in here that I can't access easily, and so I'm not using. Like, I totally forgot that I have this Baja Gold Salt, which I really like because it was stuffed in there and not easy to get access to. So this has to change. Some avocado oil I could refill. This jar doesn't even have a lid on it. I have other cupboards that I want to organize today and clean out. This one being another one. And if we get to it, I really want to get my freezer organized today. The inside freezer. Oh look, a jar of homegrown pickled onions. That we will definitely eat, but I didn't know it was down there. So that needs to be put somewhere else. The first row is done. Now we're gonna finish getting this row emptied. Oh, something's fallen behind there. I was keeping these jars for kombucha. I think I've had them in here for 1.5 years. Time to recycle them. We were able to get that completely empty, and it shocks me how much, because I do have stuff on the floor, can fit in that cupboard. And no wonder it was impossible to access. I need easy in my life. I want easy, easy, easy. And to me, what we had going on there was not easy to maintain. One thing I've been really working on over the past, I don't know, year or two is when it comes to my pantry, streamlining it, only keeping the items that we use and love regularly, because I know some of these spices I might go ahead and just toss because they've been in here for too long and they need to be gone. And if a recipe calls for something specific that is not an everyday spice, I will go buy it in bulk and I'll just buy the amount I need for that particular recipe. Or I will substitute. For example, a recipe I just made yesterday called for, I think it was called like Mediterranean 7 spice. And I could have gone out and bought a container of that mixture, but I went ahead and I Googled what is in that spice blend, and I had every single ingredient in that spice blend. And so instead of going out and buying a whole container that I would only use for this one particular recipe, I just made it up and it turned out fantastic. Same for Cajun spice. That was another one I needed recently. And I don't have a Cajun spice blend mixed up. And so I just Googled a recipe and they were all things that I had on hand. I'm gonna take this opportunity to go ahead and clean the inside of this door. I cleaned the front of it the other day, but I did not clean the whole inside. I got the top part of the Lazy Susan cleaned off. So much better. Hands have been washed. Now what I want to do is start condensing some of these items because I know I have multiples upon multiples of the same item here and over there. So the first one I'm going to tackle, well, the first thing I'm going to do is make space for myself because I need a little area where we can work. I know that I have about 4 different paprikas, and I'm going to get those all put into one jar. I have a little bit left of just a regular paprika. I have 2 smoked paprikas. And I have a paprika right here. And I was just looking at this jar and I see a little bit of condensation in that jar, which means I cannot start condensing anything yet at this point. So let's see. Oh, what I could do, well, yeah, these still have condensation in the bottom or moisture from being in the dishwasher. I think what I'm gonna go ahead and do is just turn this oven on the lowest it'll go. And I'm going to put some jars in here just so that they get fully dry. My goal after putting those jars in the oven was to tackle these spices and put them like with like. And I get so overwhelmed. There are a lot of spices here. Some of them are in jars and some are in bags. And I just kind of get a little paralyzed with a little too much decision making. And so what I decided to do is abandon that project. I need to do something easy, something that I didn't have to think about, and something that I'm pretty good at is unloading the dishwasher. You could see me just kind of fumbling there, just staring at it. And I was like, okay, this is not working. I'm wasting time. Let's go tackle something easy, which is unloading the dishwasher. Tell me if you're the same. I do not like unloading the dishwasher. I do not mind loading the dishwasher, but for some reason, unloading is like my least favorite thing to do. But I'm good at it and I know how to do it and it doesn't take any brain power to do it. So that's what I'm going to do is unload the dishwasher. And we'll save the spices for when I have the clean jars that I can put stuff into. I think that's where I was having a hard time. I was shocked with how many of the same spice I had in multiple different containers, whether they were a jar and an extra bag of something, or if I had multiple jars of the same thing. That was shocking to me how many multiples of the same thing I had. And so I wanted to have the clean jars that I could just put the same like thing with like thing in the clean jar, and then I could just move on from there. So that's why we switched focused. So I got the dishwasher unloaded, and now I'm going to tackle this cupboard. This cupboard has just a bunch of mostly oils, vinegars, salts, and that's mostly what this cupboard is. But I think it's probably been a year or so since I've gotten in here and cleaned it. So I took everything out, I wiped it down, and I'm going to clean the jars and the things that are in here. After I got it clean, I looked up and I realized I don't think I've cleaned the top of my cupboards since I painted. And I painted 2 years ago now, and they were bad. So I took the time while I was already kind of up cleaning to go ahead and clean the fronts of all my upper cabinets and my vent hood. That was so bad. I did not realize how much cobwebs and dust was on my vent hood till I got up here and started cleaning. One reason I love days like this where I have, 1 or 2 things I want to get done, typically I'm able to squeeze in a couple other things because I will just see something that's not going to take me very long and I will go ahead and tackle it, which cleaning these upper cabinets, the vent hood, and the top of that floating shelf was one of those things. While I was up here on the counter, I figured I might as well clean above this window as well because I don't think I had cleaned this window since I had moved. Well, no, Josh did trim and that was painted. So it was probably, again, 2 years ago. Jars are now dry. I just turned the oven off and I'm going to let them sit there while I finish this project because I want to go ahead and finish this. So most of the jars were not bad, but some of the jars are, jars containers of vinegars and oils and things weren't dirty, but I do have a clean rag here with some water on it, and some of the jars did need to be wiped down, so I do take a minute to wipe them down. And another reason I needed to organize this cupboard is I have bought a few new things, and instead of taking time when I bought them to organize when I put them in here, I just stuffed them in here. And so it's just a good time to get this organized. This is a very convenient place for me to keep my oils and vinegars, and I really like this cupboard. I just needed to take a couple minutes to clean it. This has really been on my list for a long time to get these spices under control and really minimize my inventory, and I just hadn't had the time until today, and this was the perfect day to do it. It didn't take me very long. We probably were in the kitchen it probably was 3 hours by the time we got it from start all the way until we finished the project. But I think it was worth that time because you will see it looks so much better and is so much more functional after we're done today. This is where I like to keep my vinegars and oils and honey. This is the only honey I have in my house right now. So over here I have my specialty vinegars that are flavored, and then here I just have my plain vinegars, so white wine, red wine, apple, rice wine, plain distilled. Here are my fancier, or not fancy, but my flavored oils. So toasted sesame oil, garlic oil, basil oil, and then just a really high quality olive oil and an extra avocado oil. And then up here, this is all salts and black pepper. I've got about 6 different types of salts up here, a smoked salt, some flavored salts, some fancy finishing salts, deliciousness. So that is done, and then I cleaned that out and that is empty. At this point, getting this done, getting up there done, which I cannot believe I have never cleaned up there before. It is time to start tackling this, I believe. Let me feel some of these jars. Yeah, these feel nice and room temperature. I just let them cool with the door open so that they wouldn't be shocked and they would just kind of cool nice and gently. Now, feels good that the dishwasher is unloaded as well, because I know that there are going to be lots. Well, I don't know if there's going to be lots, but there are definitely going to be dishes that are going to be going into the dishwasher. And things like this, I love these leak-proof lids. I really don't want to be storing things like, this is lime zest that's freeze-dried, orange zest, and lemon zest with these leak-proof lids, because I like to use these in the refrigerator for things like salad dressings, not for things that I'm not getting access into very often. Now, I went back and forth trying to decide which jars I wanted to use. Josh needs to change this outlet out still. He's replaced 90% of them in our house, but this one has not been replaced yet. If I wanted to go back to the quart size or the pint size, I think pint size realistically makes more sense because they're smaller, but I loved the look of the quart size when they were all lined up here. And I think for this space, it makes more sense to fill this space. So I'm gonna go with quart. If I change my mind, I will go back down to, or I will go to pints, but quarts is the size that I am going to be using today. Maybe I should be using pints, I don't know. I really liked the look of the quarts, so that's what we're going with. And I definitely need some of my staple spices, but I will be able to figure out exactly what staple spices I need once we're done filling these up. So the first one I'm gonna do, I'm gonna grab out my funnel, is my paprika, because I have 4 of these and I'm pretty sure all of these will fit into one jar. Grab out a pair of scissors. My mom in our stocking gave us all, well, I say us, so me and my sisters and my sister-in-law, a bunch of beautiful spices. I think it's a great stocking stuffer gift. Okay, and then I think I can put the rest of this in here. This in here, and that completely fills up that jar. And that is fantastic. So there we go, first one done. So the next one I'm gonna do is a blend. And I have some poultry seasoning here and some Italian seasoning here. I have a ton of freebies. This basket has been down in my pantry. And this morning when we were eating breakfast, we were opening all of these freebies and smelling them, and I was reading the ingredients on them. They're all like herbaceous green. This is a Greek seasoning blend. This is a Bavarian seasoning blend. This is an Italian seasoning blend, that's what this is. This is a Mural and Flavor salt-free seasoning blend, poultry seasoning. They all are very, very similar. Each one of them has maybe 1 or 2 different spices. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna mix them all together. Because these little sample packs were downstairs, I wasn't using them. If they're upstairs, you know what I probably should do? I'm gonna wipe out that paprika from here. I'm not gonna wash it. I'm just gonna get a clean, dry towel. I'll leave this towel to do that. So in between, I can wipe out the funnel. And now I'm gonna get rid of a ton of jars. I'm gonna actually use these spices. They're not gonna go to waste. All of them, I believe, were salt-free. Look at all those spices we've got. I'm just gonna shake all that together, and I'm gonna use this as an Italian Greek blend. It'll be delicious. And I just got rid of a bunch of jars, and that will look pretty on my shelf. I was all out of ginger, so this is perfect timing because I had this bag of ginger downstairs. I'm gonna get this in here. And I'm gonna keep doing that until I have all of my main spices in one of these jars. This is another free little sample that either I got or my mom got or something like that when we bought some spices. This is Southwest seasoning, and I was thinking this probably would be pretty similar to a taco seasoning. It has salt, ancho chili peppers, garlic, onion powder, black pepper, Mexican oregano, cayenne pepper, cumin, chipotle powder, and cilantro in it. And so I'm gonna take this and mix it in with my taco seasoning so that this little jar actually gets used up, because I use taco seasoning all the time, and I'm probably never gonna reach for this little mini jar. So this is what I'm gonna do moving forward, because I wanna make sure I use these spices up. I've always had my taco seasoning in this jar. Even when I make it homemade, I put it in here. And I'm gonna keep this jar, even though it's not the same as the rest of them. For some reason, I wanna keep my taco seasoning in here. And I'm just gonna mix that up. And now that Southwest seasoning blend is mixed in with the taco seasoning I already had, and I can get rid of another jar. I found another jar of turmeric. This was a jar of turmeric. I think I'm gonna like this a lot better, where I just have one large jar of everything. As it gets emptied, I will replenish the one jar. Nutmeg. I should ask Josh if he could come in here real quick and change out this outlet. It doesn't take him very long to do it. Let me see if he's available. He might not be available. It's one of those kind of out of sight, out of mind ones. He said he's available, so he's gonna come down and do that right now for me. I think I just overwhelmed Josh. He just came down here and saw what the state of the kitchen is looking like. I am reorganizing the spices. That is what I'm doing. Wow. That's why I need that outlet fixed, because these spice jars, I'm going back to the original, the original when we first moved in.
Okay, sweet.
I don't think Josh cares how my spices are organized. All right, so I'm gonna move this, and while he's working on changing the outlet, I am going to start loading the dish. Well, the dishwasher is kind of in the way of Josh. I've got 90% of the spices done that are gonna go on the shelf. Some of these items are things that I don't use as regularly, but I do wanna keep, And I have to figure out what I want to store them in. Things like garam masala spice, I definitely want to keep, but I don't even know what that is. I don't necessarily want it up on my shelf. The ones that I literally grab every single day, those are the ones that I want up on that shelf. Okay, so I'm not sure what a couple of these are. I'm actually gonna taste them. That tastes like a blend to me because there's salt in it. This is chipotle powder. This tastes like a taco seasoning, so I'm actually gonna put this in with my taco seasoning and shake this up. So here are all the spices that I'm for sure keeping. I've got a couple more that I have to still decide on. I gotta put a lid on my chipotle powder. Josh is still finishing switching out the outlet. He is almost done. So in the meantime, I'm gonna start working on taking care of a lot of these dishes. This right here is why Josh was so overwhelmed when he came downstairs. A lot of this is garbage and a lot of this is dishes that need to be washed. So I'm gonna go through first and just throw away all of the garbage that I can find here. Most of this is dishes. That's all the garbage. Oh no, there's a lot more here. I'm sure I'll find more. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just take all these jars that are dirty. I'm gonna hand wash these. He finished it. That was fast.
Yeah.
Thank you. There it is. Now, do you know how to replace at some point that dimmer one? Is that a whole thing?
It's just the brace for the cabinet is kind of the.
Oh, is it in the way?
I gotta cut a piece of plastic. And,
I see.
But other than that, it's not challenging. It's just.
That looks a lot better.
And actually, I really like how that looks.
You like that? The flip top jars cannot go in the dishwasher because the metal portion of it does not do well in the dishwasher. But obviously the mason jars can go in the dishwasher, and I have a lot of mason jars to wash. All of these need to be washed. These need to be hand washed. I haven't decided if I'm going to keep the flip top jars. I'm gonna wash them because I would obviously have to wash them before I can donate them. And then I will figure out what I'm gonna do. I've had them for a long time. They're kind of an investment. And what if I eventually wanna go back to those? I don't think I will because I already can tell you I like the look of what I have over there better than what I had. So I'm gonna wash them and then I'll figure out what I'm gonna do. I found the top of my chopper. It was at the very top of that cupboard we cleaned. I don't know how long that's been up there and missing for. I haven't been able to use my chopper because I didn't know where it was. I got a thing of parchment paper here because I was out in here. I don't know if any of you guys enjoy watching those satisfying, like organizing videos where everything gets put into like a very aesthetic and beautiful container, but then you see like when they're pouring something into it, they have like all this leftover product that then where is that jar or bottle of product or whatever it might be going? That's kind of what I want to get away from. Like I do want my spices to look nice, but I also only want enough spices that fit in the container where I don't have another area in my house where there's product just sitting. Because for me, I'm having a hard time managing that. And spices are one of those things you really do want to enjoy them when they're fresh because they're going to taste better. And I do like to buy high quality spices and I want to make sure I'm getting my money's worth when it comes to buying high quality spices. So just buying what fits in my jar feels like the easiest thing for me moving forward. And so that's what we're doing. And that's one reason why I kind of wanted to get away from those smaller jars is because I usually like to buy the 4 ounce or the 6 ounce spice packets, the ones in the pouches. And those don't fit all the product usually in those smaller jars. So if I have the larger jars, they don't have to be all the way full to the tippity top, but I have a nice size jar that when I purchase spices, I'll be able to put the whole entire package into my jar and I will be able to have a nice functioning organized kitchen where I don't have product everywhere. So that's what I'm thinking for now. You can tell me what you think of that idea. I might eventually move to use the pint jars, but I really like the look of the quart jars, and we'll just see what I end up doing. That's the beautiful thing about, our own homes, is we can make it work for what works for us. And if it doesn't work, then we can readjust. And I really did not find that those Fido jars were working for me. And so it was time to readjust. And that's what we did. But I am going to get these Fido jars all cleaned up and washed by hand. I'm going to let them air dry, and then I will keep them for a little bit and decide if I'm going to donate them later. I do have my dishwasher running as well. Everything basically has been cleaned and organized. I do want to go ahead and grind up these red peppercorns. I've had these for a while, and they've just been sitting downstairs, and they're not going to get used sitting downstairs in the pantry. I do not have a pepper mill. Oh wow. They smell sweet almost. Who knows, these might be my new favorite thing, but I want to get them blended up in my blender into a jar on my shelf so I can start using them. Okay, that's all it took. I'm gonna do a little more. These are definitely a lot softer than a black peppercorn. That smells sweet and floral, but spicy. I'm gonna taste it. I think I need to get one of the actual little corns. Am I gonna regret this? Now, there's like a paper shell on the outside, and that's all broken up. Ooh, that's spicy, but not crazy spicy. But there's like a little seed on the inside that's not crushed up. So I'm gonna blend this until it's more crushed. Oh yeah, that's better. This might be my new favorite thing. That is amazing. It's not as red once it's all blended because the inside seed was really dark. I don't have a funnel anymore. My funnel is in the dishwasher, and I turn the dishwasher on. I'm just gonna get this in here, and I'm just gonna start using this like I would black pepper and see how I like it. It smells amazing. It smells citrusy. That's the word I was looking for, citrusy. Almost kind of like sumac, but not quite as much. And sumac is one of my new favorite spices. Now, I just cleaned my counters for the second time today. I'm gonna have to clean it again, but that's okay. I absolutely love the look of this. Now it's time to tackle these spices. I just emptied this basket so I could use it to carry over some of these spices. And I found one more of these little ones, and this one is called, I don't know how to say that, but it says it's a chicken and ribeye rub. It has sugar, salt, black pepper, paprika, nutmeg, sage, cayenne pepper, and crushed red pepper flakes. I think I'm just gonna add this to my taco seasoning. And now I have condensed all of the little spice jars that I had. I normally don't like to have salt in my taco seasoning, but a little bit will be fine. Here are the spices that I don't use every single day. What I'm gonna do is use this basket to load it up with a bunch of these, and then we'll get it into our Lazy Susan. And now I have condensed quite a few of the spices. And from here on out, when something gets low, I will go ahead and order it. I probably, when I'm done using this, I will, if I get an Italian blend or something like that, I'll put it in a smaller jar, like a pint jar. Same with the turmeric and the ginger, but I have a lot of it, so I'll keep it in the quart, and then as I use it, when I go to order it, I'll order a smaller amount. Just because I don't go through a ton of those. I will continue to order a big amount of, or make my own garlic powder and onion powder. I don't think I'm gonna have to buy any onion powder at all until next onion season because I have so much that I made. These are like cinnamon sticks. So the item that I use pretty regularly is this salt. I like to keep this big thing of salt up here so that I can refill my salt container that's right there. This is like my everyday salt. So I'm gonna put this at the bottom here. I definitely want to keep a big thing of that up here. 2 of the new spices I've been using regularly is this Italian mix and this Green Goddess mix. I'm gonna put these at the front. I'm gonna spin this around a little bit and put the things I don't use quite as often. Everything with a bagel, cinnamon sticks, za'atar fennel. This is an English prime rib rub. We should have used this at Christmas. I keep seeing this Cherry black pepper in a lot of them. I'm gonna have to look that up next time I go to the spice store and see what that is exactly, because it sounds good. Garam masala, bay leaves, star anise. Some of these have labels on them, some of them don't. I'm gonna put, let's see, this is another thing of salt. Salt's gonna go down here. Italian seasoning blend, ginger, onion flakes, onion soup mix, turmeric. Oh, you know what? I think this is chipotle powder. That is chipotle powder. So I'm gonna put this in this jar up here to condense that. And this is za'atar seasoning. So we officially have this cupboard completely done now. Look how much better and functional that is. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love it. Look at what's down here, hardly anything at all, just these 2 or 3 salt things. I almost forgot, I have a couple more spices over on the counter. I've got mustard seed. I need to make some more mustard here pretty soon, so I will use this mustard seed to do that. Of course, good old Taka seasoning, so I'm gonna put that right at the front for easy access. I have some Montreals that I bought for a recipe. I rarely use this. I'll keep this for a little bit. Try to remember to use it up. So I'll put it by the salt. 2 extra packages. We've got buttermilk, ranch, and an extra of the Green Goddess. I might be able to fit this basket down here. I don't know, will I? Probably not. I don't think that's gonna fit in there. Nope. So I wanna remember that I have these. I'm gonna put them down here, just right here, so that I can see them. And that is this cupboard. You can see just how much more functional that is. Super excited about it. It looks nice. And again, I'm not gonna be buying extra spices, so the amount of spices I buy are gonna fit into these jars. So when I open up a bag of spice, I will be able to put it all into one of these jars. I don't want to have to try to manage spices in 2 places in my house. One is enough, and I'll just buy spices as needed. So what we have here is Korean red pepper flakes, smoked paprika, crushed red pepper, chipotle powder, cumin, coriander, mostly homegrown onion powder, mostly homegrown garlic powder, basil, homegrown freeze-dried parsley, and freeze-dried cilantro that I grew in the garden. I think what I'm gonna do for the basil, because I did not get enough basil to freeze-dry from my own garden, is you could get fresh basil, a huge tub for a great price at Trader Joe's. I think next time I go into town, I'm gonna pick up probably 2 of those big cartons and do some freeze-dried basil to fill this jar, because freeze-dried herbs is really the way to go. One thing you'll notice you won't see a lot of is like sage and rosemary. I have those in my garden, so I don't really need to worry about keeping them in my kitchen. I'm gonna let these air dry, and then I'm gonna probably put them in this basket, which I need to clean out. I forgot I have some tahini. This I bought for a recipe, but I really wanna make a margarita with this as a salt rim. I think that would be good, so I'm gonna keep that. I have never done that before, and I found a few more spices. So I thought I was done, but then I turn around and here are a few more spices. So I've got some nutmeg, some dill, cinnamon. I'm gonna put these in the same spot, some more nutmeg and more Korean red peppers. I'm gonna put these in the same spot that I put those other couple bags. And then again, I do not want a ton of bags that I have to manage. This is the last of the stuff that was in the Lazy Susan, and I'm gonna bring it downstairs. Some freeze-dried cilantro because I have one more of these downstairs, coconut oil, some extra apple cider vinegar, and then some olive oil here that can go with the rest of my olive oil. And now everything is going to be where it goes. I'll bring this downstairs when I go downstairs. I'm just gonna set this over here. You will know if this ends up staying this way or if I end up changing it, but for now, I am super happy. I decided to go back and reverse what we did a year ago because I think it looks pretty. It kind of makes the spices part of the decor because I don't have a lot of decor in here. These are the dishes that need to be dried, and then I'll put them in that basket downstairs and I'll decide what to do with them later. I've got a sink full of dirty dishes, which I am not gonna hand wash. I guess I have to hand wash that one, but the rest of them I'm gonna wait, and as soon as the dishwasher is ready, I can just get those in the dishwasher. Have a bunch of towels here that I'm gonna get in this dirty hamper. It looks like this dirty hamper is completely full. So I'm gonna go get this started so that we have more towels. So I'm pretty sure I went through almost all the towels that I own. So I need to get them washed, and that is the cycle of life. So thank you, friends, so much for being here as we got this organized. If you wanna watch more videos, I'll pop some videos here. You can go enjoy between now and my next upload. I thank you for being here. I thank you for being you, and I can't wait to see you next time.